Hi, everyone, and good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Welcome to Margaret's Kitchen, Comidas De Mi Familia. Today, I am going to be cooking up the pumpkin that we used for decoration for harvest. And so, anyways, so this is a fresh pumpkin, and I'm going to start to cut it up, and then I'm going to put it in the oven at 350 degrees, well, like 400 actually, and let it cook. Let it just cook down, and we're gonna make a puree out of it, and then we'll be ready for the holidays. So, anyways, thank you and welcome to my kitchen. And if for those of you that are first time here, you know what? Welcome, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Doesn't cost you a thing. Give me a thumbs up and share my channel with all your friends and family. So now I'm going to start from the top. I'm not an expert at cutting pumpkins, believe me. And but this is my only way of figuring it out and stuff. So I have a good knife. I don't know why pumpkin is so difficult to cut, you know. And so anyways, so that's what I'm doing. Cutting up this pumpkin, and then I'll show you how everything else is done. I know that a lot of people wonder, how do you make pumpkin, how do you use it up? And because some people find, gosh, it's a waste to buy pumpkins, and then most of the people, they have them on their fences or on their yards, and you just see them withering away, But anyways, so I'm going to show you how to utilize your pumpkin and stuff. So, and my knives are very, very sharp. But for cascara, my God. So remember, and those of you that have been buying my cookbook, thank you so very much. www.nmcookbookmariabaca.com. Thank you. You don't know how much I appreciate it so very, very much. Okay, oh, look at that. It came out better than what I thought it was going to come out. Wow, nice. Put it in my bowl. Let me get a spoon. Get a spoon so I can clean out the pumpkin. And so let me show you inside. It's not like a lot of seed or anything, but you got to get out all that. And some people use their hands. I'll just do the best that I can with this for just a second and just scrape it down the back of a spoon. And I'm always telling you guys about hitting the sides of your pans. Don't nick your pans, just put your hand there and get them out. Clean out your spoons a different way, but don't be hitting your pans. It's the worst thing you can possibly do. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to cut it down the center. Cut it this way and then clean it out like a pie. One wedge at a time. Because I have to wedge it anyways, right? And I don't know. It's easier this way. But some people do that and use the spoon. Look. So then what you do is you get your spoon and you clean it out this way. Look at that. Let me move this just a little bit so you could see. Look at this. Look at that. And then you can reserve all the pumpkin seeds and stuff, but look at that. Put it and place it in the bowl. See how easy that was? It's easier that way than digging my spoon in there. But I did that so you guys can see that's what a lot of people do. And but I want to show you easy ways of doing things. Look at this. There it is. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it down. So I don't want real big pieces, but I don't want little pieces either. See? And then I put them upside down into my pan. Look. Into my pan, upside down. And you're going to fill every crevice that there is to cook your pumpkin. And you're gonna know when it's ready because it just turns to be a beautiful, beautiful color. So again, we're gonna cut down. And I have 2 pumpkins, so look. Again, look at how nice this one. Not bad, huh? So again, we're gonna get your pumpkin this way. Hold your spoon. And then scrape it down. There you go, see? And then you can go back this way. Again. There you go. Look at that. And then we're gonna keep going just until we finish. Okay, look at this. Then when you already have it cut in half, it's so much easier to get the last of it out. Look at that. Look at this. Isn't that nice? Look at that. So now I'm gonna cut it down, put it in this pan. And I'll tell you what, the cascara of the pumpkin, it's a little bare to cut, I tell you. Turn it this way. And it has to go upside down because of the fact is that you want all the meat, the carne of the pumpkin to, you know, to retain all those juices. So you want it, that'll keep it so moist and, that's me. But anyways. Okay. And not too much of a mess, ¿verdad? This one down just a little bit. I'm going to cut this one just a little bit. And this one. Okay, so then, look at that. So we're going to cut up the other pumpkin. Look at that. Nice, huh? Okay, let's cut up the other pumpkin. And my pumpkins are all washed. That's why they're wet. I washed them all. And then I let them just sit there for a while and stuff. So anyways, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to remove the bottom pan. I have 2 pans. So that way I can fill the other pan as well. Okay. Okay. And this one's a pretty big pumpkin, so yeah, it's a big one. And so anyways, so this way, again, we're gonna cut it down like this. So that way we can open it up. Okay, got this. Look at that. Now then, look at inside. It's a nice pumpkin, huh? Okay, let's empty our garbage bowl. Okay, we emptied our garbage bowl. Now we're gonna cut down the pumpkin. Try to go to the almost to the bottom because there's that little core in the bottom. So okay, and then this one we'll just pull off like we did the last one. There, see? We'll continue doing it that way. And I know somebody will say there's an easier way of doing this, but this is my way. Everything works for your family and your home, so you do what's best for you in your home. This is just showing you what I do. And if it helps somebody, great. Look at that. Okay, let's cut this down. Okay, and again, we're going to continue filling up the pan. Like that. Just keep filling it up. Not too high, but not too low. Okay, this one, because the pumpkin's so big, I had to cut it in half and then half again so that I can clean it and stuff, because this was a big pumpkin. Takes all your breath away, Lord Jesus. Okay, look at that. Almost done. And then we'll put it in a preheated oven at 400. And actually, you know what I'm doing is I'm putting it in the air fryer part of my oven, and see how it comes about, no? And stuff. So let's see. But anyway, so then I'm gonna cut those in half again. That way I can fit them all in the pan, and they all almost are flush. You know, to where the carne is touching each other. You know. Look at that. This one again. And I've never really been a pumpkin seed person, so I've never made them. Really never have made. I've made them, but not something I do all the time. Make them just to try it and stuff, but never been a pumpkin seed. Look at that. Look how pretty. make more room here. Look at that. See how much easier it is? And I just cut them this way. This way, you can, let me see. Just lay them in this way. I want them to get like I said, you want them to be juicy, and so when they're cooked, you'll see that the cáscara will be like a dark brown because it's all that sugar that comes out, and that's what gives you a good pumpkin puree. Well, for me anyways. Like I said, everybody will say something different, so I just do what I'm just teaching you how I know how. My mom's cousin she used to like to make calabaza like this. You know, the pumpkin part. And she's dead. She's passed away, so, you know, learn a little bit. I learned a lot just by watching, you know. And then I would remember, write down the recipe and how it was done, things like that. That's how I learned. A lot of just watching, you know, and stuff. So look at, see, and that's what you want. This is how you want it and stuff. And then now we're gonna cover it with the heavy duty Reynolds wrap aluminum foil. You know, I am a Reynolds wrap person. I never buy the no name or the generic stuff like that. I always buy name brand. I don't know. Just me. Look. Okay, cut it down. And this I'm gonna cut again. It's a little thicker. This looks, God, I can't wait to start baking with it. Okay, last piece. Look at that. Last piece. So again, I get the tip of my, and this is a heavy duty spoon. It's not one of those flexible ones that will break or anything like that. This is a really nice stainless steel spoon and stuff. So okay, see, look at that. I'm gonna cut this down here and one more. Okay, so we're gonna put that in the pan and then start to line it with aluminum foil. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and cover it. Now you can tell when you're using good aluminum foil because it's heavy duty, and that's important. You know, it's very important to use good aluminum foil when you're baking like this, because you want that exhaust in there, that humidity. That's what's going to keep your calabaza nice and moist and going to cook properly. Look at that. There's no holes. It doesn't tear as fast either. So, you know, remember that. Okay, so I'm going to put this one in the oven so I can cook both of them because I have 3 racks in my oven. Okay, so now let's wrap this one up. I'll put that one there. Move this one a little bit. There. And again, you want to do a fairly oversized piece of the foil. Okay? And again, Reynolds wrap isn't paying me to say that. I'm just telling you what I use. And it takes a good while to cook. So we're gonna check back in about an hour and see where it's at. You'll start to smell when it's ready, because you can smell it, of how great it looks and stuff. Okay, let's put this one in. Okay. There it is. And so now we're going to set the timer. I'm going to go ahead and set my timer, cook time, and I'm going to do it for 75 minutes. 1 hour and 15 minutes, and then we'll check it and see what happens. Okay, guys, let's see. It's been about 70 minutes. So 1 hour and 10 minutes or so? And so I'm going to pull out one of them. Pull out the bottom one. It's still a little heavy, so that tells me that it's not all the way ready yet. But let's see. You guys should be able to see it all. And I'm doing this just to check it. Oh yeah, it's not ready yet at all. That's okay. Put it back in, and this time I'm just gonna put it on the bake cycle. Okay, I put it back in the oven, and I'm going to put it on the bake cycle. I just wanted to try the air fry, see what it would do. But anyway, so I am placing it. Going to be at 450. Okay, so let's see what happens. Okay, it's beeping. Let's check it out. So that was 75 minutes. I'm going to turn the timer off. I'm not going to turn the oven off yet because I want to make sure that everything cooked properly, and then we're going to let it cool down, and then we're gonna place it in a pan, and then let the liquid thicken up. It will thicken up. So let's see. These smell good. That's the one on the bottom. So let's check it. Check the other one in a second. Let's see. Oh yeah, I could tell how loose the foil is. It might have cooked down. Let's see. You never know. Sometimes it takes longer. Ooh, this is done. Look at that. It should be fork tender. Just about. Probably, it's coming out pretty clean. Look at that. Let it cook just a little bit longer. This one. That's nice. And it's already going in. Look at how soft, easy that goes in. But I want it to cook a little bit more. Look at that. Yeah, it goes in easy. But I still want it to cook down a little bit more, probably about another 30 minutes. So I'm not even going to open the other one because they all went in pretty much at the same time. So let's see. So like I said, once I remove them from the cáscara, from the peel, I'll put them into a saucepan, and then I'm just going to cook it down till there's no more liquid in there, and it makes a thick puree. But before I do that, I have to place all the pumpkin in my food processor and, blend it down, or in my blender, my Vitamix or my Ninja, whatever one I use. Anyways, and just blend it down. Make sure it's a nice, beautiful puree. Pour it into the saucepan. And then at that point, what I will do is cook it down till it makes a thick sauce. Or a thick mixture, not sauce. Okay, so it's beeping. should be ready to turn off. I'm just turning it off. Okay. Oh, this smells so good. I'm going to take the top one out this time. Oh, yeah. Oh, that smells good. Okay. All right, let's check it out. And then we gotta let it cool down before I take the, oh, yeah. Oh, and be careful opening it because there's a lot of steam. Oh, this is, look at that. Now that is what you call ready. Look at that. Oh my God, look. This is ready. Woo! And then we're gonna, once it cools down, then we're gonna remove it from the cáscara and then put it in a pan, in the food processor, or you know, whatever, and puree it. And then we're gonna place it into a pan and reduce all that liquid that's in here. Look at this. Oh my gosh. Very good. So we're gonna take the other one out, remove the other one. Now put this here. Okay, move this over. And now we're going to remove the other one, and then we're going to let it cool. Oh, yeah. Let's check this one. You can tell though, look at how much it's gone down. Oh yeah, look at this. Beautiful. Look at that. Beautiful. Look at this. And then once we remove it all, look at that. Perfect. Look at this. Okay, we're going to let it cool down, and then we'll place it into the blender, food processor, whatever you want to use. See which one I pull out. Okay, guys. Hey, okay. Now, you see the, the pumpkin, and they're hot. They're not cold, but I'm going to start to do this so that I can show you how to do this. So you got to just peel them off the skin. So I have this really neat thing that has a serrated on the bottom. The knife, the butter knife. So that one goes in, and then look, see? And we're gonna do another one. And I'm only gonna do a couple, and then I'll come back when I'm done doing them all. When I start to puree, that way you all can see how I puree them, okay? Oh yeah, these came out just beautiful. Just beautiful. Look at that. And it takes a good part of the cáscara, I mean, there's still some that, because it's so hot. There. Let's do another one. See the serrated part? I got this from Pampered Chef, actually. Look at that. And like I say, we need to puree all this and then we'll cook it down because, as you know, pumpkin has a lot of water. So we want to, reduce all that water by cooking it now in a pan. And then we can add spices to it afterwards. The pumpkin spices to it. Look at that. So we'll keep on doing that. Okay, we're at the end of putting all the pumpkin in I used my Vitamix. That's the one I decided to use. I love it. It does exactly what I want it to do, and you know that it's going to be smooth. And so anyways, this is the last of it. And then I'll show you, I got all together, I think, it'll be 48 cups of pumpkin puree. But remember, it's full of water. So I still am going to have to reduce it, and stuff. So here's the end of it. Let me wash my hands real quick so I turn it on. Okay, might need to use that, my little handy dandy. Okay, it's pretty full, but it'll. That's it. So now, oh yeah, that came out beautiful. Look at this. Look at that. Now we'll go and put it in the pan. Okay, here's all my pumpkin puree. Just gonna pack it up for the next video. I love my pan. This is one of my favorite pans. So I have the large capacity. This is a 64 ounce, and I filled this up times 4. So 64 ounces times 4 is a lot of pumpkin puree and stuff. So anyways, thank you all so much for being a part of my kitchen. I totally appreciate each and every one of you. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Look at this. This is all my pumpkin puree. Look at that. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up. I would so gratefully appreciate it. And you know what? Thank you again. Primero Dios. And always remember, if you don't got nothing nice to say, don't say it at all. And thank you all. www.nmcookbookmariabaca.com if you'd like to order my authentic New Mexico cookbook. We'll talk to you soon. Bye. Adios.